Okay, welcome to AEC Stories. This is former SM-3 Dempsey from the USS Mount Hood. Today I have Ron Hudson, who was also stationed at the same base my ship was at, and he's going to tell us about the Navy in the 70s and being on different kinds of ships and having to change rates and what his experience was like. How you doing today, Ron?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. You were on the USS Flint. So I guess I'll start with my basic, like I do with every podcast. What got you to join the Navy?
What was that?
What made you decide to join the Navy?
Okay, my dad was 20-year Air Force. So like you, I was a military brat. And about halfway through my senior year in high school, I went down, took tests, decided to go on a delayed entry program, so I knew what I was doing when I got out.
Okay.
I went to boot camp in Great Mistakes.
What year was that?
That was 1974.
Okay.
Got up to Great Lakes, I guess it was, June 74.
Wow. So you were there when it was hot and humid when you were up there?
No, I came from Texas, so to me, it was cold.
Yeah, there I go, trying to second guess you. I was off.
I'm used to like 70, 75 degree nights, and we left there, and I get up there, and it was only like maybe 45, 50 degrees, which to those folks was warm. But to all of us Texas boys, we were freezing our gonads off.
So was boot camp what you thought it would be? I mean, or did you have any ideas what it would be like because you grew up around the military?
It was kind of like I thought it would be. I mean, oh man, he was pretty strict on us. So I think I told him after I got out of boot camp that hell, compared to him, that DI couldn't yell worth a damn. I was used to it. Of course, I already knew military time, which seems to be one of the things most people have the most trouble with in boot camp. I don't know why. It's easy, but I thank my dad for making me learn that, because that saved me some grief.
Well, when your dad was in the military, did that make you grow up all over the world like I did, or were you stationed different places?
Not so much. We stayed mostly here in the States. I mean, bouncing around from state to state. I had a chance to go to Germany, but my brother needed special education, so I ended up going to Guam in 72. God, I hated that place.
That's funny.
I was a sophomore in high school, just starting to go out and figuring we're going to have some fun, and next damn thing I know, I'm on Guam. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Guam is a very small little island. I went to high school with kids from Guam. I'm like, where are you from? You're huge, you have big muscles. You're great football players. Where are you from? Because I didn't know where. Go ahead.
But when you're over there, they're all related. So if you get in a fight with one, you're fighting the whole damn island. Yeah,
it's not a good place to get in a fight. That's for sure. And there's some big, strong men, and they enjoy that. That's a sport.
Yeah,
not a good place.
I was there for about a year and a half, and Dad was getting ready to retire, so he came back here to Texas, and he retired 1 month after I went active.
Okay. So did you pick the Navy because you saw it growing up on Guam, or you just liked the style, what they did, or what?
I picked the Navy so I could have my mustache.
Yeah.
I liked the Cracker Jacks. The damn problem was Zumwalt did away with the Cracker Jacks.
Oh. That was your... Go ahead.
Yeah, I like the Cracker Jack uniform. I was young enough and thin enough to wear it then. and Zumwalt wanted everybody to look like CTOs.
Yeah. It's just... Did you go to A school from boot camp, or... Before you went
I went straight to A school down in San Diego from boot camp. I don't think that place even exists anymore. I went to SHA school. I got lucky in a way because I passed my last exam I missed a couple of questions, so I didn't ace it. If I would have aced it, they probably would have offered me E4, and I probably would have taken it and had to do 6 years instead of 4.
Yeah. So you got sent to the Flint after that, right?
I went straight to the Flint after that. Yes.
Well, that's perfect for AEC stories because it was an AE.
Yeah.
Wow, you actually matched the theme here.
Well, I tell you what, when I got to it, I had no idea what an AE was. When I was filling up my wish list there after A school, I put down I wanted to go on the, what the hell was that hospital ship at the time?
The Mercy?
The Mercy. I figured if I was going out to sea, I was going to go with women. Thank God I didn't get that, and I got put on the Flint.
Yeah, the Flint, I mean, now you and I were talking earlier. That's a very barren type base to be stationed at Port Chicago Highway, Concord Naval Weapons Station. Not much of a nightlife or an exchange or anything. And like you said, if you don't have a car, you're kind of screwed. You got to wait for the ship's van to take you anywhere off the base because you can't walk on that base.
Oh, man, getting there, flying into San Francisco, I had no idea what Port Chicago or Concord was. I've never been to California in my life.
Right.
And I get down there, and I got a number and a call. I got the quarterdeck and asked me how the hell I got there. They said, well, it's up to you.
Wow.
Wouldn't send the damn ship's vehicle for me, so shit, I don't know how the hell I really got there. It was 8, 9 o'clock at night when I finally got there. I had till midnight to check in. It's been so long I don't remember how I got there, but I do know I was sitting there wondering what the hell I got myself into when I got there.
Well, yeah, that was a hell of a base. I mean, that was back then, you were in the 70s. I came in the 80s. Things still hadn't streamlined that well because I thought my ship was in Concord, but it was actually in San Francisco. And I got there a couple of days early, so I stayed at the hotel. And then I went to the base and they go, your ship's not here. And I had to pay like $65 cab ride to San Francisco to go to a dry dock. Yeah. And then we came there later. But, I had different expectations of California than Concord, didn't you?
Much different.
Yeah, you're thinking beaches and pretty girls and all that. And you're like, oh, this could be anywhere. This could be the middle of Texas and the plains.
He had short hair there. Back in the 70s when I was there, they knew he was military and you might as well not even existed. The other people that talked to you was the hookers and all they wanted was your damn money.
Wow.
Most of the time they wouldn't want anything to do with you.
Well, I got to say, even when I was there, I guess that carried on because Concord was not, in my experience anyways, it was not super Navy friendly. It wasn't pro-Navy because of what the ships carried on them. And also, I came on there just after that guy was trying to protest the heavy weapons that were being transported on the ships. He jumped on the train tracks and got his legs run over, right? So that really gave us a bad PR.
I hadn't heard about that, but while I was active there, they had some guy that got in there and somehow he got into one of the bunkers and he got some shells, not anything important. But he low tide, he sat there and he put them out there on a couple of sandbanks and then called the base CO or whoever, newspapers, and told them that he'd done it. Their shells, and that raised all kinds of hell.
Oh, I bet.
I'm telling you, I think that's one of the reasons why that base ended up closing. Californians are crazy anyway. They want to have all this damn freedom, but then they want to sit here and they want to put down the people that get it for them. Well, San Francisco had a chance to have the Iowa sitting there as a museum ship. San Francisco, the damn mayor, oh no, we don't want anything that represents war here.
Well, you got the Hornet in Alameda now. You got that.
Alameda is a little bit of ways, but I mean, they had a chance to have the Iowa. Let me tell you, if you get a chance, you're in California, if you get a chance to come down to San Pedro, go down there and see her.
Yeah. I want to check it out.
Impressive.
Well, it's definitely the museum ships. I've gone on the Hornet. I'd never been on a carrier when I was in. I was like, wow, this thing's huge, compared to being on the AE. But then the AE kind of had that intimacy, and you had a decent, you weren't on a frigate. It was more like the Cadillac compared to like the Toyota, a Celica. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. She rode real nice, even in rough weather when she was loaded out.
Yeah, same thing. I never got seasick on the Mount Hood. I will say that go ahead.
I got seasick once. First time going out. I was sitting there in the damn bay still. After that, I was fine. Never any more problems. But that one time, it's just the fact it wasn't even in rough waters yet.
I think the closest I felt to it was I was mess cooking. I was in the scullery cleaning all those dishes, and you get that huge food waste deposit hole there in the big deep sink they have. And it's just slushing around. It's like smelling garbage as you're rocking back and forth, and that can kind of get to you. But I didn't get fully sick, thank goodness. And the ship was rocking a bit, but it's just a gnarly experience, right?
Oh yeah, that's just normal. I mean, I saw we were all out there in the Philippine Sea there, and we were going through a typhoon, and we're rocking a little bit. Nothing really bad. I mean, hell, when she's fully loaded out, she's down the water a bit. So I went out to the weather decks there, looked off the starboard, and there was a British can. And I was watching this thing for a while, and it would come up, and you would see the hull all the way to midships. And then she'd go back down, you see blue water up to the bridge. And I looked at that, and I said, ain't no goddamn way you're getting me on something that small. Yeah.
Yeah, after looking at that thing, it's like it's above surface submarine kind of deal. These guys are getting racked and tacked. It's interesting because those tin cans get thrown around. One of my former shipmates, we weren't on at the same time, but I believe it was a Mount Hood, and they were delivering furniture for the admiral who really needed it delivered over in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. And they had moved the rest of the fleet to another island because a typhoon was coming. Or what, hurricane, either one, right? And this other ship was rocking so bad that the guy got thrown out of the fantail and died, or smashed up against a stanchion because it was rocking so damn hard. And 3 guys were thrown overboard, which I believe they survived. So, yeah, that stuff's no joke. But when you're on the Mount Hood or you're on the Flint, you're on the AE, that ship's designed to ride those big seas. I've been out there in 20-foot waves, It was a great ship.
Could you imagine if she was that light and you're sitting there next to a bird farm doing your unwrap? There ain't no way. There's no way you'd be able to sit there and keep that high line and all that stuff good and taut and transfer stuff over because everybody be bouncing around. I mean, that's why they were so damn heavy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, at the time, there were days I cussed that ship and I cussed the whole damn thing out. And then there were days I look back on it now and I realize, it was the best damn time of my life.
So you really liked the Flint. And what was it that a lot of your good friends you met there, or what was the experiences that you really pulled back from that?
It's just your first ship is kind of like your first love.
Yeah.
Your first car.
Yeah.
And that's what she was. I mean, yeah. When I got out of the Navy in '78, I was ready to get out.
Yeah.
Because we weren't getting the best officers at the time. We were getting people who couldn't make it out in civilian life or graduated low in their class or whatever, so they came into, and it showed.
Right.
I had one really good CO. The first CO was a teetotaler, so if you went in front of him for alcohol, you were in trouble, and I did that twice. Got a 45-minute lecture from him each time I knew he was alcohol. I wanted to ask him, you don't drink, so how the hell do you know? Our last CO, Jesus, and we were over there in Westpac in '76, last week, he partied as hard as we did. He'd show up just as drunk as a damn skunk.
Yeah.
The gangplank. So he understood it. He didn't put up with a lot of shit, but he understood it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of SEAL you want when you're in the Navy. One understands when you're out to sea, you do your damn job. When you're in port, you party.
Well, that was the Navy. It was a bunch of wild nights, and it was a very hardcore. I mean, it made Animal House look a little weak, to be honest. You know?
Yeah, we did. I mean, I remember we got into Subic one night. We got in there late. We got tied up at the pier at 8 o'clock. By the time we got off the ship, we only had maybe 2.5, 3 hours at the most. So I run down to the place where the girl I was generally screwing around with was at. Drank a pitcher of Mojo.
Oh.
Sitting there topping them off with San Miguel's, which was a damn mistake. I mean, by the time 11:30 got there, I was drunk as a skunk.
Yeah.
She decided she wanted to go home alone. Looking back now, I don't blame her. At the time, I was pissed. So I headed back towards the base. But I'm drunk. I walk a straight line. Now, I'm 6'2", and you remember how short most of the Filipinos were. Mm-hmm. I didn't move. If you didn't get out of the way, I stepped on you. Got to the base, ran into a couple of the TOs, and I was E3 at the time. They decided to go to the PO club. On the IDs at the time, it said non-PO. Well, we got there. I put my thumb over the part that said non. I don't know how the hell it got in. I remember we ordered 2 bottles of Boone's Farm. I don't remember drinking them. Next thing I remember is time to go back because the club was closing. On the way back, we were sitting here throwing rocks at streetlights, doing crazy shit. Picked up a trash can, dumped it on the hood of a Navy vehicle. About 5 feet from the damn gangplank, here comes the damn STs. Almost safe, got busted.
Yeah.
Ended up going to captain's mess. We had our story straight. It was first class and second class and me. So we had our story straight together. And the only reason we didn't get the book thrown at us is because they had told the XO that nothing was going to happen, but NCIS got involved. So I think we all got some extra duty and stuck on the ship.
Yeah. I know what those nights are like. I had a few captain's mess myself. 3 of them, to be exact.
Well, I saw this guy twice for, well, not AWOL, but I didn't get back to the ship on time. I was drunk. That's the first time I saw him, and the most time. So needless to say, he remembered me and the alcohol, and I caught it again. I figured the only thing that saved my ass was the fact that I was there with the first and the second class, and we had time to get our story straight.
Yeah.
Look back on it, it was funny because I had nothing really to lose. Go back to E2, pick up E3 real fast again.
Right.
Those guys, they both had something to lose.
That's crazy. So you still stay in touch with any of your friends from the Flint?
No, I got in touch with one. He saw me. There's a Flint site. It's like, you got the pod here for this. And I got on there. He contacted me, and we talked for a little bit, but that only happened once. Well, most of the guys, it's been so long. I mean, damn, 76, 78 was what, 40 years ago now?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was a long, 40 years ago is, it's a blip in some people's memory, and as you get older, it's harder to pull those ideas out, and that's kind of why I started this, to get my memory on track, because I started feeling it slip. I'm only 49, but, I'll be 50 in May. It's like, oh, crap, I need to pull these out so I can listen to them one day in case I forget them, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't remember a lot of the people. I remember a couple of the officers. Both of them were chicken shit. One was an ensign named Campbell, and the other was a supply officer named Nutting. Campbell had no damn cojones whatsoever. Because when I was in SH, I was in charge of ordering stuff for people off Navy Exchange. I had the catalog and that.
Yeah.
And I did some order forms up the way the ensign told me to do. He wasn't around, so I took him to the lieutenant. He said, no, change this, this, and this. I went back with changing the ensign. This is what the hell you doing? And I told him, he said, you do them the way I told you to do it. So I did. Mm-hmm. And then after we had them all printed out and sitting on the damn shelf there in this nursing office, lieutenant walks in, he sees it, he starts chewing my ass out right there. The ensign's sitting there, and he says, I'm sure Ensign Campbell wouldn't have told you to do anything. I didn't do something different than what I told you to, would you, Campbell? And that jackass son of a bitch says, no, sir, I wouldn't.
Wow. Sounds like you got put in a cross. It almost makes you wonder if they were scheming against you just to fuck with you.
No, Campbell was just, Nutting was kind of like Frank Burns from MASH type of lieutenant.
Yeah.
And Campbell was a chicken shit. After the lieutenant left, he looks at me and he says, sorry, Hudson. And the two DKs that were in there thought I was ready to get my ass written up because I turned around to him. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I chewed his ass out and I did it in such a way that I couldn't get written up. And then I turned around and walked out of the room.
Yeah.
But they knew me and they both said they were surprised. They figured I'd have my damn ass back up at mast again. But
so you didn't... You didn't hit much of San Francisco when you were in port out here? I mean, you were mainly in Vallejo, you said, and Concord?
Yeah, we were down in Concord and Mare Island. The only time we were up was a ship close there, and we were in the dry docks here. I think that was in Alameda. I'm not really sure. No, I was in Frisco. Yeah. Because I remember across from us, and you could see it with the big eyes from the ship. What was it? That
Hunter's Point?
No, there's a building across from us, and these chicks used to be up there, and they have to be up there sunbathing nude. And you know what that does to a bunch of horny young sailors. And I'm trying to remember what it was because it was a damn organization.
Okay.
And I can't remember.
Seco or something. I can't think of the name, what it was. But so where was the... Go ahead.
It was all women, an all women's organization. I think they were escorts or something like that. We were doing good till they saw us. They caught us out there, and then all of a sudden things changed.
Yeah,
bitches.
That's an interesting segue. Well, that wasn't going on when I was there, but you're kind of in the Summer of Love Woodstock era, just a year or two behind. So you still get that free love and disco society growing around that time. So,
well, the feminist movement was fairly strong then, so women were doing everything they weren't supposed to do. You know.
Okay.
Not wearing the bras, crap like that. Nowadays, I don't know what it is, but women don't seem to want to go braless anymore. I think they're worried about sagging or whatever.
Yeah. So that was
you don't see too many braless women.
Well, it's funny talking to you because anybody listening to this that's, a little younger than you is going, wow, sounds like you lived on a different planet.
Well, if you could go back, it would almost seem like being on a different planet. People weren't so damn PC. We could agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Then you walk down into berthing compartments or workspaces, and you had all kinds of flipping centerfolds and pictures and calendars and shit on the wall. We could smoke in the spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a totally different world at that time.
It was, I wasn't part of that Navy, but then it changed, It changed, but, it's interesting you bring up PC because I've been studying some stuff about that, and that's just a way to control everybody's words. Therefore, you control their thoughts, or you control them. Yeah, PC is a very interesting term. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear, if we called each other an asshole or a buckwad or something like that, nobody got uptight about it. Just came back with another response to them, I mean, it was no big damn deal.
Yeah, we're a little...
They watch our language. Now they got to watch their language.
Right.
When I went back in '80, that's when they decided that you couldn't wear beards anymore.
Okay, get rid of your beard?
Well, instead of being honest and telling everybody the truth why they didn't want you to have beards, they come up and said, all right, E1 through E3 are not authorized to have beards, period. E4 can put a chit in, but it's got an ice cube's chance in hell of getting approved. E5 and above can't have beards because you're out in the public. You're invisible.
Right.
So they just tell everybody the new mask on the damn tanks won't seal with a beard. Let they go with that. They had to put this big damn thing out there. I mean,
they're like, yeah, the OBAs for firefighting. That was another thing.
No, not the OBAs anymore, the new stuff, because I can wear an OBA with my beard, because I had a beard.
Yeah.
But the new ones they got with the big old tanks in the back, I guess the mask don't seal properly if you got a beard on.
Okay.
But instead of just telling people that's the reason you can't have beards, they got to go to this whole rigmarole BS.
Yeah.
Because to me, a beard is a Navy tradition.
Yeah. That was you guys look like the Bee Gees back then with your beards.
Hey, the nice thing about being able to have a beard then was I could sit here, if I didn't feel like shaving for muster, I just go out and tell them I was growing my beard back.
That's right. You know, I had the super shaved. I had a very blue book manual, whatever, super strict chief. So yeah, shaving was a definitely must. It's funny.
Yes.
Whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
They away with so much of the old Navy, the dungarees. Damn, those things. Now you got something that you go overboard, you blend in with the water.
Right.
And from what I've heard, you know how you can always take your old dungaree pants off, tie the legs in knots, and bring it down. You can kind of make a life preserver out of it.
Yeah, you could drown proof with your dungarees, turn them into your flotation device, right?
Yeah, from what I've heard on this new stuff, you can't do that.
Interesting. Who knew that pair of, disco bell-bottom jeans would be so effective? Well, you got to remember, they were also issuing the same type of clothing to prisons, right? So we couldn't wear dungarees off base because that's what prisoners wore. So in case you didn't get snapped up by a cop. Oh, another prisoner. He's got a sailor hat on. He's trying to fool us. I'm sorry. It's just funny because we could never wear those off the base, but,
Yes, now they wear these cameos or whatever the hell they call them. I see them wearing those things off base. Even if you lived off base, you couldn't wear your dungarees. You had to take the damn things off, or if you did, you went straight home. You didn't stop for gas. You didn't stop for anything. So they would write your ass up for that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and you would look at like the Army and the Air Force and everybody like, damn, they can just wear their uniform wherever. What the hell? I got to change, right?
I got to admit, some of you snipes, when you came up, your dungarees kind of looked worse for wear.
Yeah.
Decades, too. I mean, their dungarees, I was surprised, and my dungarees stayed nice and clean.
Oh, yeah, those guys were working in the grease and the dirt and the grime and the paint. There's no wonder their dungarees get torn up. It's like, oh, that guy's got the... Made you appreciate your rate, though, I'm sure. You're like, I'm glad I'm not in deck,
Oh, damn sure I was glad I wasn't in deck. It was bad enough I was on sea and anchor for the longest time up on the forecastle.
Well, I didn't realize because I was being pushed that direction by my recruiter. He's like, that you can pick whatever rate you want. You get a good ASFAB. And like halfway through boot camp, they go, hey, you got a good ASFAB. Why are you going to deck? So they gave me the signalman rate. I was lucky, I was
I had SH. Because when I went up for my ASVAB test, I didn't sleep good. I didn't score as good on it as I should have. Because when I took it again 80, I was going to go back in. I scored damn near 100% on the damn thing.
Well,
it seemed like they dumbed it down even then.
I still go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would have been smart instead of going back active. Maybe I would have just gone down and checked out with the Coast Guard and been a puddle hopper for the next 14, 15 years. But
yeah,
all I could think about was getting back in. And then when I got back in, I remembered why it was I got out in the first place. I can't handle the BS.
Yeah, you kind of you gotta give up your individuality, but you missed giving that up in some cases, but then you don't when you go back. Like the old timers would say, one day you're going to miss this, and you're like, no way in hell I'll ever miss the Navy. I hate swabbing. I hate paint chipping. I hate carrying paint. I hate long watches and no sleep, right? But there's parts of it that you do miss, and there's just something there. It's hard to define. But, you traveled the world. I think that's the biggest key. You traveled all over.
I miss the sea.
Yeah, that too.
I really do.
Me too.
It was the only good thing about living in San Jose. I could go over the mountains, and in about an hour, I could be sitting there at the coast listening to the water.
Where'd you go, to Santa Cruz or nearby?
Santa Cruz or Monterey.
Yeah.
Just right over the hills, and you listening to the water. You see these stuff on Facebook all the time. Only 1% of the people have seen the sunrise at sea. Well, hell, I've seen sunrise, sunsets, seen the moonrise, seen storms walking.
Yeah.
So you're just walking right across the water to you. Seeing the flying fish jumping up out of the water. I've seen dolphins playing across the bow of the ship. Seen things,
Beautiful things.
Some of the stuff, some of the BS wasn't worth the damn. I saw stuff people are not going to see.
Yeah. I got lucky. We went up by the North Pole, and I saw Aurora Borealis, so that was cool. Just looked like a red lamp was sticking out of the pitch black sky. Like God had a lamp on up in the sky. Like, hey, someone turn off that lamp. It was funny.
Did you pick up your shell back?
Yeah, I did. I did 2 Westpacks. I did Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I was in there in the Gulf for all that.
See, in 75, we were supposed to go down to Australia.
Yeah, we were always supposed to go. We never made it.
No, I was looking forward to that because of the simple fact I've heard it was a great liberty port.
Yeah, same here.
Well, that's about the time that Saigon fell. So instead of going to Australia, we went to the coast of Nam.
Yeah.
And then we came back and we were taking care of refugees on top of everything else. Hauling food stuff. I think there's some, I know we had the ones on Grande Island there in the PI.
Yep.
I think there was some on Guam. I think we hauled food. They loaded a bunch of rice and crap in us, and we hauled food over there.
Yeah.
I was so mad it wasn't funny.
I had one of my shipmates, the one I told you I visited, he was over there, Grande Island, doing some, teaching some of the refugees some English or stuff like that. He was a signalman. They had him helping out over there too. Yeah, this is all towards the end of Vietnam. I think 73, 74. It was starting to wrap up there.
It happened. Supposedly we got all our combat troops out in 73.
Yeah.
And then in, I think it was June of 75 is when that final push was put on and Saigon fell. Basically the rest of the country fell to VC.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a heck of a crazy operation there. I mean, we just signed up.
It was because nobody was set up for it. Nobody saw it coming.
Right.
Because we were in port in Subic. I'd never seen this in my life. There were so many ships in Subic that night. We were actually anchored out, and there were all kinds of ships in other anchorages. I had the duty that night. I heard there were so many ships in port, they closed the gates off.
Oh, gosh.
Didn't let anybody else out. And then, what I had, the 2024? I think I had 2024 that night. When I woke up the next morning, got up for muster, that whole damn harbor was empty except for us.
Wow.
We were waiting to bring people from other ships and get them back over their commands.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
What a thing to see. Now, you went West Coast and East Coast as a sailor, so you were stationed on the East Coast later on?
Yeah, I was stationed on the East Coast in Norfolk.
Yeah. I don't hear a lot of, excitement, like people loving Norfolk that much. A lot of guys are like, base sucks. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been there.
It's the people as much as anything else. they still had signs in the yard saying, "Keep off the grass, dogs and sailors."
Wow.
People wanted to see us on the 1st and on the 15th. Other than that, they wanted nothing basically to do with us.
They wanted to see you on payday and then get the hell out of here. Thanks. Give me your money. Get out of here.
Yep.
Wow.
That was it, you know?
Sounds like a bunch of pimps.
People were happy to see you with the loan sharks.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the way it was. And
wow.
The command structure itself, I mean, I didn't have much to do with that because the command I had, they were pretty cool people there. Those are all corpsmen, so you know how corpsmen are.
Yeah.
I was working with the corpsmen on the training devices.
Yeah, corpsmen were pretty chill. I lived with them for a year when I was at Oak Knoll. So, yeah, I work with them every day.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun duty right there. I mean, I enjoyed that. But when I got the chance, I was, you know, being a military brat, you kind of follow the military all your life. I mean, I was born in 55, so the war was only over. Matter of fact, 55, about 10 years. The war officially ended on August 8th. No, it was May 8th.
World War II?
May 9th. So just about 10 years after the war ended is when I was born. So I grew up like a lot of kids my age. You watched combat, you watched these military movies, you read the books about them.
Yeah.
So when I got the opportunity to be on a battleship, I had to take it.
So that was your second duty station, was the Iowa?
That was my third. No, the Iowa would have been at the Flint, all the damn schools I went to when I came back in. So I went to Millington to go to school, and I went to Great Lakes again to go to school.
You switched rates. We're trying to keep with the story. You switched rates like twice, right? So you went from three times. So you went SH to, what was your next rate?
SH to TD.
And that's a trainerman. You kind of do simulators and stuff, right?
Yeah, trainerman. That's the one that no longer exists.
Okay.
And then I went to FTG, which is Fire Control Technician Guns. And that rate no longer exists anymore because they converted all to FC.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, my rate's gone too, by the way. They don't have signalmen anymore, bud. You know, they mix.
What do they call it now?
They mix them with the quartermasters, but I don't think they're up to speed because we did what we did 100%, you know, to it. So it's, you know, it's like having a person that plays the piano full time who's an amazing concert pianist. Then you get another guy that plays the guitar. Now he's trying to do kind of 20% on the piano and 80% on the guitar. You know what I mean?
That's the new negative. I'm reading about that stuff here, where they're trying to sit here and make everybody know, you know, 2 or 3. That's stupid. How the hell do you get the whole deal about your rating once you get proficient in your rating?
Yeah.
That's why you're having all these problems. People aren't proficient in what they're supposed to be doing, what they're trained to do. Damn, I don't care what they say. You underman a ship, you tell people they've got to cross-train at other rates, of course you're going to have screw-ups, for crying out loud.
Well, there's a lot of change in culture, technology. Technology is one of the biggest things I don't think a lot of people are looking at. Like everyone's like, hey, the parents are this and that. So first of all, the cost of living's gone up everywhere. So how much time can parents spend properly with their kids, right? Not as much, right? Because it takes 2 incomes to support a family. Second of all, people have babies, the baby's crying, they hand them an iPhone, all of a sudden the baby's playing Angry Birds, right? That's where the addiction starts. And it's been going on ever since the iPhone came out. And just imagine there was new 18-year-olds going into the Navy around the time that technology existed. And you and I, we were in the Navy when it was writing letters and maybe a phone call from PI for $8 to $12 a minute back home, stateside, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that was it. That was, you know, you would be gone like John Wayne in a cowboy movie, going out into the wild wilderness for months at a time, you know what I mean? Or Christopher Columbus sailing around the world. See you in 2 years, you know what I mean? And
I have no pity for these guys. How they get on the damn laptop and bring it up in Skype and see their wives and their kids.
Right. That's the difference. We didn't have that. Yeah.
I was overseas when my daughter was born.
Wow.
In November of 76.
Yeah.
And up until that time, when my daughter was born, the RMs would bring the message down to the guys and tell them congratulations and give it to them.
Yeah.
I got paid to go to the exo stateroom. So I'm sitting here and you know what's going through my mind. Something happened, something bad happened. He hands me the damn message and says, congratulations, Petty Officer Hudson. And I'm sitting here going, oh, shit. My knees were weak. And he decided he was tired of being cut out of the loop, so he was going to deliver all the messages from now on.
Oh, my God.
Nice to know.
You know, it's interesting how you get that message. It kind of makes me think about this Submariner guy I talked to where they would have this electronic mail, and they would send two guys, men in black, to your house to deliver the message. And then one guy was telling me they were going to see his mom to tell her happy birthday or whatever. I forgot what it was. And she's like, oh, no. She's not answering the door. She doesn't want to hear that he got killed, but he didn't. It's just a very scary way to deliver a message, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm relating.
That's the military for you, though.
I want to come down here immediately. You just got promoted. Oh, I thought that was horrible news coming my way. You know?
I'm tired of... I understand now how the guys before us must have felt. You know, I mean, when they started doing away with the gunship Navy, I mean, did you guys ever unrep with the Chicago?
Unrep with the Chicago? Not that I recall.
She may have been gone by then, but during the war, she was a heavy cruiser, and then they took off, what was it, forward, I think the forward two turns, and they put missiles in her. Okay.
There was a...
He actually started designing the ships with the missiles in them.
Yeah.
I remember unrepping with her a couple of times. You could just see the lines and the way she would have looked with the two turrets still on her.
Well, I did a podcast with two guys that were on the same ship. I think it's the Champlain. It was a heavy cruiser, just below battleship, right? And they were on the ship with John Wayne, so that's a pretty cool podcast. Two of the guys that hung out with him.
I saw that once when he was doing that movie.
In Harm's Way?
Yeah, I saw that. I was reading on that.
It's pretty...
Lynn, I hate to cut this short, but I got to go pick my wife up.
No problem, my friend. I got to wrap something up, too, but thanks for being on, and I appreciate your time, and, we can shoot at it again. Sounds like you got a lot of sea stories. But I appreciate you coming on, so I'll let you hustle out there.
No problem, man. I appreciate this. It's fun to talk about the old days with somebody that understands, has actually been on the same ship.
Yeah.
When you talk about stuff like high lines and tension, they understand what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're on the same kind of ship, it's a lot easier. You know, if you're on some kind of like the Pegasus high-speed hydrofoil, I'll be like, that's cool. I don't know anything about it. Well, you have a great day, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
All right, Elaine, you take it easy, too.
Okay, buddy. Bye.